You're listening to the Team Stripes Podcast.
Everybody, welcome back to episode 82 of the Team Stripes Podcast, proudly presented by Acme Whistles, helping you make the big call since 1870. The legendary Acme Thunderer is now available in matte black. As usual, I am joined by my co-host Ross. Ross, how are you today?
Dude, we are officially 1 day away at the time of the release of this podcast from the drop of the puck on the 2021 NHL season. We are going to be talking about some fantasy hockey today, the division alignments with a little bit of a season preview, the news that the NHL is going to be playing a couple of games on Lake Tahoe, and I think we got a couple other things to talk about as well. So I'm pumped up and ready to go.
Yeah, we got a big list of things to talk about today. I think most importantly, the day of recording, so we always record on Mondays, it is probably the NHL's most favorite referee is his birthday. So happy birthday to Mr. Number 4, Wes McCauley.
Oh, it's Wes's birthday today?
It is
No
the
shit.
Legendary Wes McCauley's birthday.
Happy birthday, Wes. And since it is his birthday, the NHL did give him a gift.
Yes, they did.
He is now permanently a part of the game. They officially added his 5 minutes each for fighting signal into the rule book.
Yeah, I mean, super like minute stuff. But it is pretty cool to think like one day when Wes is old and like he's a supervisor in the league, you know, some young kid's gonna be up and coming and he's gonna be like, yeah, that signal's because of me. And I mean that's pretty cool in my opinion.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, happy birthday to Wes. And then yeah, obviously with the rule changes, I guess it's not necessarily a rule change. It's more of just a signal change. They finally made an official signal, which is always really cool.
Yep.
That, I mean, as far as rule changes go, that's all we have. Obviously, we already touched on the offside rule
the
changing.
Offside, and then the one minute one, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, they made it to where if you dump the puck in from beyond the red line and the defensive team goalie covers the puck, it was no change. Now they added in that you cannot take a timeout as well as that no change. And that's something that happens maybe a couple of times a year. And honestly, it's only really there to encourage the goalies to play the puck. And let's be honest, almost all of them do anyway. So, yeah. Minute rule change, not a big deal there.
Yeah, we'll see it probably twice this season, and that'll be it. But that's all we got for rule changes. Obviously, big news coming out today. The NHL is going to do 2 outdoor games taking place in February on Lake Tahoe, on the 18th fairway at Lake Tahoe, I should say. On February 20th, Vegas is going to take on the Colorado Avalanche. And then the next day, Philly and the Bruins are going to battle it out at Lake Tahoe. Ross, I know you're excited about this. You've been wanting this for a while now.
I am excited about it, but like I'm a little heartbroken they're not skating on the lake.
I think logistically it doesn't make sense.
I know. I posted on their Instagram story. I was like, wait, the rendering shows them on land.
Yep.
You had me at Lake Tahoe. And hockey, I'm like, oh, they're going to skate on. Wait, they're not skating on the lake. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun. The one weird thing is unfortunately, there will be nobody there to see it other than the camera guys. The camera guys, the referees, and the players.
To me, I think that's what's going to make it so cool. I mean, yeah, they're not playing on the lake. They're on the 18th fairway. But, I mean, I think logistically trying to get fans there would be an absolute nightmare. But I think it's still going to be an absolute blast. It's going to look amazing. Like I'm excited for it.
I really hope they don't pump in fake crowd noise for the broadcast. I just want it to be just the sounds of hockey and them skating outside.
You know, I hope they do what they do for the golf on CBS and pump in some bird chirping.
Mm-hmm.
That way it's really outdoors, even though it's middle of winter. But
that'd be fantastic.
I agree. The no fan noise, I think it should just be the sounds of hockey and Lake Tahoe, I think is one of the best places to do that in. that's kind of the big news for today. Obviously, training camps are in full swing at this point. We've had a bunch of teams doing scrimmages, bunch of guys getting sent down. Nobody super noticeable getting sent down that I've seen come across. We know Mike Hoffman got signed a 1-year, $4 million deal, which means the Blues are, I saw it today, they were like 5 and a bit million over salary cap. So they're going to submit that roster, 21 man roster, put 2 guys on long-term IR, and that will all be settled. The only 2 major issues we've seen with training camp so far are the Vancouver Canucks and Dallas Stars. Both had to shut down. The Canucks.
With the Canucks, it was false positive COVID tests. The players were retested, and so they are good.
And then
Dallas, since you're in Dallas, you would know more than I don't. Aren't they delaying? Aren't they rescheduling their first 2 games just to make sure?
Correct. Dallas had, I believe it was 6 players and 2 staff members test positive, or it was 6 total. And so they were originally supposed to start January 14th. They got bumped back now to January 19th is their first game. So they kind of get not a week, but they get a week to have everybody quarantine, do what they need to do, test negative, and come back.
Gotcha.
So not a huge disadvantage, I think, if you're Dallas, not a huge advantage if you're another team playing Dallas. It's going to be one of those things where I think this year that this is what's going to happen if you're not in a bubble. I mean, we've seen it with the NFL. We've seen it with NBA so far. Games have gotten postponed because of it. I have no issues, obviously, with not being in a bubble. I think it's better to not be in the bubble, but those 2 camps have already shut down. Thankfully, Vancouver's was just a scare.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I don't really have any major training camp news. The only major story that I've seen come out was in the Devils inter-squad game. We had Miles Wood and PK Subban get into a fight, which, okay, you can say it's preseason. Fights are bound to happen, but it generally doesn't happen between 2 guys that are established NHLers that are playing on the roster. That's really the only big news I've seen come out of camps.
Yeah, the only big news that came out of Lightning camp last night was they did their inter-squad game, and friend of the podcast, Jamie Koharski, was wearing his Germany Panda referee sweater. And then
why not?
Yeah, exactly. And he got some mentions on Twitter for it. So that's the big news of the Lightning camp.
Yeah. Before we go any further, this also, I guess, is another big news coming out of training camp. Also out of the Devils is Corey Crawford announced his retirement.
Yeah. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah. So he signed a 2-year deal.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So he signed a 2-year deal in New Jersey to play for the Devils, went into camp, and I don't know if he just didn't feel it or what, but he decided about halfway through camp, was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to hang it up. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, though.
Yeah, it was weird because, like, I saw on one of the pages I follow, Complete Hockey News on Instagram and Facebook, they said at first that he had told the team, hey, he's going to take a little leave of absence. And then, like, a day later, he was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. So
hey, you know what? The guy played 15, 16 years in the league, which I didn't realize he'd been around that long.
So
I know he won the cup with Chicago.
Twice. Yeah, he's a 2-time cup winner, played 488 regular season games. I had him for 13 seasons. That might have just been with Chicago.
Okay.
But still, nonetheless, he had a great career, battled the last 2 years through concussion stuff. So that might kind of be the case of, like, he went into Devils camp hoping to feel better, just hasn't, and, you know, said, hey, like, I'm done.
Hey, good on you, bud. You got nothing to prove.
Nope.
You got 2 Stanley Cups. You helped Chicago win two of the 3 that they've won.
Yeah.
So you know what? Good on you, bud. Enjoy retirement. No more concussions, no more BS. Go be a coach somewhere or enjoy life with the family and the kids.
Yeah. And the Arizona Coyotes finally brought back Shane Doan to work front office. That was announced, I believe it was either today or late last night, that he is brought in as a director of hockey ops, some front office guy. But Shane Doan back in Arizona, back with the Coyotes, where, I mean, I think without him, hockey's not surviving there. So
Yeah.
there's that little bit of news coming out as from Arizona as well. But I think that's all we have for the news, unless you have
Okay.
anything else to surprise me with.
Other than the USPHL Hub City getting off to a really good start.
How is that? How's that going?
It's been great. Good hockey games. I've worked 3 already. I have 8 this week, I think. I'm gonna die. I'm legitimately like going to die. Let me pull up my calendar here. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 junior games this week.
8 and 7 days?
No, 8 between Tuesday and Sunday.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
It's the old 8 and 6. I like
it. Yeah. I'm be hurting.
At least it's going, off without a hitch. Dallas had a little bit of it wasn't a hub by any means, but the NA3 brought in, I think it was 2 or 3 teams to come down into Dallas and play. And so all this week we had games. I mean, I skated 3 and 3 this weekend, and it was fun hockey. It's always fun hockey. So
yep,
it's nice to see the kids playing.
I'm just happy I'm lining.
Oh yeah, I no desire to.
Tomorrow though, I do get to work my first NCDC game.
Is that so college?
That's their top league in the USPHL. It's their tier 2 tuition free league. It's like there's obviously the USHL and the NA, and then the USPHL NCDC is like close to the NA.
So a few teams could compete, type of thing.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells me, is that there are teams that could compete in the NA, and like it's just kind of like they're on the bubble, like they are there, and like they're close, they're very close, and they'd probably be competitive. And then from there, like the Premier and the NA3 are probably around the same. I haven't seen the NA3 in a long time though, so I can't really. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm working with a couple of local guys, and then Jay Durfee from the Northeast, who I haven't seen him in like 10 years. So it'll be fun to work tomorrow.
And that's always the best, skating with guys that you haven't seen in 10 years. And
forever.
It's going to be a blast.
Yep.
You wanted to talk about fantasy hockey, so
yes, let's dig into some fantasy. I usually end up losing interest in fantasy. Like I'll play for like a couple weeks, and then I'm like, I forget about it.
Then you forget, yep.
But whatever. I know a lot of people that listen, and a lot of people out there love their fantasy hockey. So we're just going to do kind of a quick rundown of like the top 10 players in each position. And I'll go ahead and get started here. So we'll go ahead and start with the centers. So this is all from, I think from just from the NHL. This isn't TSN or ESPN or whatever. So at centers, we have Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Austin Matthews, Crosby, Eichel, Elias Pettersson, Sebastian Aho, Mika Zibanejad, and Braden Point as your centers. So if you're picking top 5, you can't go wrong with a McKinnon, a McDavid, or Leon Draisaitl. You can't. Right wingers, Mikko Rantanen, Patrick Kane, David Pastrnak, Mitch Marner, Patrick Laine, Steven Stamkos, who The one benefit with Stamkos is I think they have him listed as like a center or a winger. So with him, you can, if you take him, you get that double slot where you can put him at wing or at center. Mark Stone, Blake Wheeler. Also, Blake Wheeler is also one of those guys that they have listed as center/wing. Teuvo Teravainen and Tom Wilson. Teravainen's listed as a left or a right winger. So you get that advantage there of being able to put him on either side. So our left wingers, we got Panarin, Ovechkin, Brad Marchand, Andrei Svechnikov, Matt Tkachuk, Gabriel Landeskog, Jake Getzel, JT Miller, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Kyle Connor. So Landeskog, Tkachuk, and Svechnikov are guys that you can put on either the wing or at center. So it says here. Defenseman, Carlson, John Carlson, Cal McCarr, Quinn Hughes. Is it Hughes or Hughes?
Hughes.
It is Hughes. Okay, because you never know with that last name because some people use the G, some don't. Then Victor Hedman from the Lightning. Duh. Dougie Hamilton from Calgary. Roman Josi, Alex Pietrangelo, Morgan Riley, Torrey Krug, and Brent Burns. And then to wrap it up with the goaltenders, Andrei Vasilevsky was ranked number 1, which is no surprise because he has truly established himself as the best goaltender in the NHL. And we're lucky to have him here in Tampa. Then we got Robin Leonard, Tuukka Rask, Kata Hat, Connor Hellebuck. That was a Spit and Chicklets reference for anybody who catches that. Kata Hat. Connor Hellebuck, Igor Sturchkin.
Sturchkin. That's a tough one, dude. I don't like. Change your name, please.
Please change your name or give us a good phonetical. Freddie Anderson, Kari Price, Ilya Samsonov, and Philip Grubauer. So those are our top 10s at each position. Don't ask me for fantasy advice. I am not the guy you want to ask. I would say if anyone out there does need fantasy hockey advice, listen to The Point with Boomer on NHL Network Radio. And you're probably going to, or the fantasy show, whatever they call it these days, that's going to be your best bet for getting fantasy advice. But I figured we do a quick rundown. If, these top 60 players, I mean, obviously they'll all get picked. And if you're in a small league, I mean, 60 guys, you should have, decent amount of those guys on your teams. So that's what I have for fantasy.
All I want to know is how is Robin Leonard second in goaltending?
I don't know.
To me, there's so like Robin Leonard is a great goaltender.
So
I don't think he's second.
I think he is second because of the team in front of him. Because you're gonna get wins out of Vegas this year.
But go ahead.
Well, I think it's more of the wins thing and maybe the save percentage because they don't get scored on a lot as a team. So you get those categories.
So this is also, though, for fantasy players, owners, whatever you guys want to call yourselves. It depends on the league that you're playing in because I know I played in leagues where it is about just win, save percentage, and like – that's it. And then I've had leagues where shots on goals counted.
Yeah.
And so, even if one shot on goal is a quarter of a point, I mean, you look at like a Carter Hart or Igor in, New York who are going to get peppered with shots. Like it's one of those things where I know a few years ago, I picked up a goaltender on a team that was bad. Like it was just a bad team. Like everybody's like, why are you picking him? And it's like, well, he has 45 shots against a night. He saves 40 of them. I don't care if I don't get the 3 extra points for the win. I care about the 20 points I get because he's made all the saves. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing to look at with fantasy.
And
I'm
then
not the biggest fantasy hockey guy, kind of like you. I lose interest about halfway through the season.
yeah. Obviously, there is a big name missing from the right winger list because he's stuck on IR for the entire season in
Mr.
Nikita
Tarasenko.
Kucherov.
Oh, yep.
Well, and Tarasenko
And
as well.
Tarasenko, yeah. I don't know if he plays left or right, but
I think it's going to be an interesting year as far as points go. I did see a meme the other day that said Wayne Gretzky started COVID to prevent Ovechkin from breaking his goals record. So I got a good laugh out of that one, just because like we're playing 56 games. What's the odds that you think Ovi can go 50 and 56? If there's anyone that can do it, it's him.
Yeah, I mean,
playing against, and think about it, playing against the division he's playing against. I mean, the goaltending in that division isn't necessarily the best.
I mean, no, because you look at it and he's got to play Boston, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Philly, Rangers, Buffalo, New Jersey, and
the only like really good goaltender in that division
is Boston and Tuukka Rask.
Carey Price and Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, and Carey's not in there, so now all he has to deal with is
that's right,
Boston.
Yeah, because I'm thinking the Atlantic Division. Sorry,
you might be able to put Pittsburgh up there with Tristan Jarry. I mean, he's a good goaltender, but he's no Carey Price by any means.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Tuukka's the only goaltender that's worth a damn that he's got to play against.
Yeah,
not to throw the other goalies under the bus.
No, they're all good.
Carter Hart's in that division too, right?
Yes, he's in Philly.
Yeah.
But like it's one of those things where he's a young goaltender and it's Alexander Ovechkin. That guy can score.
I could see Ovi going 50 and 56. He could do it.
I think it would be cool if he did.
Could you imagine if he did 50 and 38?
That would be
bananas. To beat Gretzky's 50 and 39?
That would be bananas.
If it's going to happen, this would be the year to do it.
Yep. The only thing I think that's limiting is going to be the schedule and how he handles the travel. But even in that division, the travel's not bad.
There's next to no travel. They're going to be freaking on trains everywhere.
Yep.
They don't they don't have to fly. They don't have to fly if the train schedule works out for them. And then it's 2 games back to back, with a day off in between. I mean, so he's going to see the same goalie 2 games in a row most of the time.
Which could help.
So, I mean, fuck. Ovi could do it. It would be unreal to watch. If Ovi could hit 50 and 38, you heard it here first.
Hey, I'll jump on the board that he doesn't in 56. I'll do 50 and 56.
Yeah, 50 and 56, I think is very possible.
Yeah. Really quickly, though, I want to mention...
does any player go over 100 points this year?
No.
In 56 games. You don't think so?
No. I think there will be guys...
I think if anyone does it, it'll be either Ovechkin or Draisaitl.
Yeah, I mean... Because that's in theory, you're going to average just under 2 points a game.
If you think about it, too, McDavid and Draisaitl are only going to be playing the Canadian teams.
Mm-hmm. So,
like... It could be a race to 50 goals between one of those two and Ovechkin. Like there's going to be some interesting storylines coming out of this season when it comes to points.
Yeah, the only thing with the 100 points is, I mean, that's teetering on almost 2 points a game, which, I mean, even the Connor McDavids of the NHL, I mean, if they average like a point and a quarter, a point and a half a season, like that's great. So I think 100's lofty, but I mean, I just 70s and 80s.
Think that it's going to be one of those things where, with it being only a 56 game season, I think we're going for the sprint and not necessarily worried about the marathon.
Yeah, 1000%.
To use that cliche.
A few names I do want to mention, though, for fantasy, especially if you're in a league with, 10, 20 teams where you kind of got to go a little bit deeper into the draft. Look at Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
Because if you've paid attention to Toronto's camp at all, he's playing with Marner and Austin Matthews. Mm-hmm. Joe Thornton is the best puck passer, I think, ever.
Still playing in the NHL.
Yeah, and I think...
I wouldn't say ever.
I don't know.
There's a guy that has more assists than anyone else has points.
Fair. Fair. I think he's one of the best then. Definitely the
Okay,
best
thank
of
you.
my generation.
Okay, fair enough.
And
I'll
I
give you
mean,
that.
look, Joe Thornton, if he can sit on a line with Marner and Matthews all season, you know what? He might get 80 points and 50 of them, or 60 of them will be assists probably.
Yep.
But that's Joe Thornton. And then another one is Andrew Majapani. He plays for Calgary. Not a whole lot of guys know about him, but being a Flames fan, I've watched him for the past 3 years, and that kid is going to have a breakout season, and it's going to be really interesting to see just how high he can go.
Yep.
That's all I have for fantasy. Kind of like Ross, like I'm into it. I can talk about it, but I lose interest about halfway through the season once I start forgetting to set my lineups.
We need to shift back real quick to the Lake Tahoe thing because we forgot to mention who was playing.
No, I said Vegas and the Avs and Philly.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to mention that the Flyers and Bruins are doing another outdoor game.
Shocker.
Shocker.
At least Vegas gets one.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Vegas gets one. I think, the Avs hosted one last year.
Yeah.
So,
and then also, obviously, we did mention Wes's birthday, and NHL, NBC Sports, and a couple other media outlets did some nice posts to wish it. Happy birthday to the legend himself. Okay. That's my ADD kicking in. So we will go ahead and shift over to the new division alignments.
Yep.
And let's maybe make a little prediction on each division. So we'll start with the North Division because you have that written down on where they finished last year, and we can talk about where we think they're going to go.
Yeah. So for the North Division last year, anybody that lives under a rock or that doesn't pay attention to the NHL for whatever reason, that is the 7 Canadian teams are making up the North Division, so they don't have to travel down the border and whatnot. So looking at last year's standings, the Oilers would have finished first at 83 points, the Leafs second, the Jets third, Flames would be fourth, Canucks fifth, Montreal sixth, and Ottawa seventh. Now, going into this season, obviously those 7 teams are going to play each other. My top 4, I got Calgary, Toronto, Edmonton, Winnipeg as my top 4. I don't care where you sit in the top 4. Obviously, as a Flames fan, I'm going to say Calgary's going to finish first. But I mean, we have to play the Oilers 10 times, so there's 10 wins. But again, that's maybe a little bit of the bias coming out.
I think that's wishful thinking, but
maybe. I think Montreal and Vancouver, I have them at 5th and 6th. They could definitely battle for 3rd and 4th, I think, as well. It's a pretty tight division except for Ottawa, but even then, Ottawa might be cooking something up because.
So I think the top 3, I think your Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary of the 7. I think those 3 for sure.
Yep. And then that 4th place is going to be a toss-up.
4th place, those other teams are going to fight.
Yep.
And Ottawa could surprise us. I think that'd be cool. I mean, they do have that German kid. At camp.
I still haven't learned how to say his name either.
We'll just call him the German kid.
Yeah, for right now. We'll figure it out.
And they brought in Cedric Paquette and Braden Coburn from the Lightning, which I think are definitely going to help them out. 2 guys fresh off a Stanley Cup.
And then Matt Murray's now in net.
Yep, Matt Murray in net. That Ottawa team, I think they're going to bite some people in the ass.
They're definitely cooking something up. My only issue is they are so young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have enough depth.
Well, that was why
playoff run.
That's why they brought in like Paquette and Coburn,
which I agree, and like those are great veteran presence into the lineup. Yeah. I just don't think year one.
And Matt Murray, you got 3 guys.
Yeah. I just think year one they can't do it.
No, not year one. But
they're gonna be competitive.
You do have 3 guys that just got there that have Stanley Cup rings.
Yeah, and I mean they're definitely going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see them in the North Division beating out Winnipeg, Vancouver, or Montreal for that 4th spot.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I tend to agree with that.
Now, if they do, I'm all for it. Throw them into the playoffs. Let's see what they can do. I would love it, but I I see Winnipeg, Vancouver, Montreal battling for fourth, fifth, and sixth.
And it is the Scotiabank North Division, correct?
Oh, every team.
Yeah, Scotiabank. Because aren't all the teams Scotiabank Arena at this point up there?
So I know Calgary is 100%.
Is it
Toronto's not?
Aren't they
No,
Toronto's... it's just Ottawa and
it's just Ottawa and Calgary, I think.
Yeah,
but then still, funny. I mean, like Scotiabank owns all. They have advertising space on all of the Canadian teams.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the Mass Mutual East Division. Gee, I wonder who their favorite team is. Huh. Well, I think it's the easy pick to say. I don't know. Well, maybe not necessarily easy, but I think it's going to be a toss-up in that division for 1, 2, 3, 4 as far as where they finish. But the top 4, without a doubt, I think are going to be Boston, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Philly.
I have the Islanders in there.
I
have Philly 5th.
It's going to be close.
I have Philly 5th, but competing.
That Islander team surprised a lot of people in the playoffs. They did get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were definitely outmatched by the team they played there. But yeah, I could see the Islanders being in that top 4, but obviously, sorry, Rangers, Buffalo, and
the Devils,
Devil fans. It's gonna be rough for you guys this year.
Here's what I'm gonna say: if you're the Rangers, you're rebuilding. You're gonna be competitive.
Go ahead, sorry.
They're gonna be competitive.
Yeah,
but they're not gonna be in the top 4. Buffalo going to be competitive. I don't think they have the goaltending to be in the top 4. I think they have everybody up front. I still think they have question marks in goaltending.
Well, they do have Tyler Hall playing with Jack Eichel now.
Correct.
So they're gonna do some damage together.
They can score 6 goals, but if you're gonna give up 7, you're not gonna win many hockey games.
Very true.
As unfortunate as that is, Buffalo has everything up front to win. I mean, yeah, they got Taylor Hall in for the 1 year, but they have enough up front that they can score. I just don't think they can stop getting scored on. Yeah. And the Devils are just, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're rebuilding. I really don't know.
Well, what are they doing in net now?
Mackenzie Blackwood's going to be their starting goaltender, and he's a younger guy.
Never heard of him.
He was their starter last year for the most part.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, not
so
a
what you're
well-established
saying is they're not going to call 50-year-old Martin Berger to come play net for them.
No, but they should. they should. But yeah, no, I got Washington, Boston, the Islanders, and Pittsburgh as my top 4.
Now, do we know what the Caps are doing in net? Is Anderson going to stay there? Did they sign him?
From my understanding, it's the Russian kid that they had last
Russian
year.
Kid. Okay.
Let me find his name for you.
I'm looking it up right now.
Professional
podcasting at its best, boys.
I always forget it. It's okay. Ilya Samsonov.
Yeah, Ilya Samsonov.
Yeah, so I think he's your starter, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Craig Anderson signs and is their backup.
They have a kid in camp from Alaska whose name is Phoenix Copley. That is a fantastic name.
He's played a few games.
Speaking of cool names in hockey, this is another ADD thinking kicking in. There's a guy this week that I saw playing on one of the premier teams for the Islanders. His last name is Thundercloud.
That's awesome.
So I go over to him in between periods. He's like, "Hey, bud, I got a question for you." He goes, "What's that?" I was like, first of all, you have the coolest last name ever. And second, you're Native American? He goes, "Yeah, actually, my grandpa's over there. He's one of the chiefs of our tribe." I was like, that's so cool. Because I was thinking, okay, he's either Native American or First Nation, but that last name's badass.
Yeah, dude, that'd be so sick. Like, you don't even need a nickname for it.
No.
Just
Anyway.
thundercloud. Back to Washington though. I just figured out their two goaltenders they're going with are Ilya Samsonov and then a goaltender who I have never heard of in Viket something. The tandem,
so they're not keeping Craig Anderson?
correct. The tandem has 26 NHL games between the two of them, all belonging to Samsonov.
Well, they better hope Ovechkin scores 56 goals in 50 games.
I was going to say they're going to need a lot of scoring. Samsonov is a good goaltender from the 26 games we saw of him.
Mhm.
He played all of them in the bubble for what I believe.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah.
No, Holtby played games, but he wasn't anything special.
Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, they lost Holtby, Lundqvist. I think Lundqvist they brought in to be their starter. And obviously, with the heart issues, he's not. It'll be interesting.
Then, let's see here. Let's look up. Now, with Boston,
Yes, new captain.
they have a new captain in Patrice Bergeron, which was probably the easiest pick of the lot.
The most logical.
And the most logical. There's a video. I guess they named him captain with a prank. So
Yeah,
cool.
They named Marchand as the captain, and then Marchand was like, "Actually, no, just kidding." Gave it to Bergie. So that was cool to see. That was funny.
That's funny.
Okay, but Washington's not like now. I'm worried about their number one spot on my list because they don't have goaltending anymore.
I think honestly, I think Boston takes the division.
Yeah, and
they're always at the top of that division. Like
so here,
the last 2 years it's been them and the Lightning.
Yeah. So okay, so we have Boston, no doubt. Pittsburgh, I say no doubt on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have the Islanders, Philly, and Washington battling for 3rd through 5th. Top 4 make it. Could Washington miss the playoffs? Do you think Philly's good enough to beat them? Same with the Islanders. I think the Islanders can beat about anybody. They'll bore you to death, but I think they can beat you.
Honestly, I think the way, like, now that we're actually looking at the roster of the Washington Capitals, I think the way it's going to go is they're going to go how Ovi goes. If Ovi scores a lot of goals, they make the playoffs. If Ovi doesn't,
then they're in trouble.
Yep.
But let's move on to the West Division. I don't know who they're sponsored by. You have that?
Honda, I believe.
Okay, so in the West Division, we got Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis, Arizona.
The Honda West Division. Sorry.
Okay, so we got Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis, Arizona, the Wild, and then the 3 California teams and the Sharks, Kings, and Ducks. I think this is an absolute no-brainer. You're going to have Colorado, Vegas, and St. Louis battle 1 through 3. I think Colorado comes out on top.
I think Colorado easily wins that division.
Yep.
I think it's going to be by a lot of points.
And then
I think Colorado could win 35 games of the 56, if not more.
With who they're playing, the West is arguably the easiest division for the top 3 teams.
CBS Sports has the Avs at 37.6 wins as their projection.
I don't think they're off by much.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Because if you think about it, they have the Ducks who are in the middle of a weird rebuild, the Kings in the middle of a rebuild, the Sharks in the middle of the rebuild. They have the Wild who, they're good, but they're not great. And then you have Arizona they showed a lot of promise and they've always gotten a little bit better. But then the only 2 like really tough teams for them to play are Vegas and St. Louis.
Yeah, Vegas, St. Louis. And actually, I'm looking at the predictions here on CBS Sports. They actually have Colorado 1, Vegas 2, Minnesota 3, and St. Louis 4. They have Minnesota at 33 wins and St. Louis at 29.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think the Wild are going to be that good. I have Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis, Arizona is my top 4. I think Arizona and the Wild battle it out for that 4th place. But
yeah, I think that is the safest assumption.
And then the Sharks, Kings, and Ducks, they're battling for whatever 6 through 8.
Yeah.
They're not going to be a difference maker in that division.
Yeah, and I think honestly that easily wraps up that division.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say there. You have 3 good teams and 4 bad teams.
And then, so we're going to switch over to the Discover Card Central Division, which is by far the best division in the NHL this year as far as diversity of teams, because we have some Eastern teams and some Western teams. We have the defending Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning. We have the team they beat in the Stanley Cup Finals in the Dallas Stars. So we have the 2 best teams in the league from last year in the same division.
Beautiful. Love it.
That's going to be interesting. We also have the up and coming, extremely fun to watch Carolina Hurricanes.
Yep.
And then followed by, we have Nashville. We have Chicago, Columbus, Florida, and then Detroit.
Detroit's going to be there.
So CBS Sports, chances of Detroit winning the division, 0.
Yep.
0.
Yep.
Wins, 12.
Ooh, that's harsh.
That's rough.
That's harsh, but they're probably not far off. It
is going to be a rough year for Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings. Yep. However,
look on the bright side.
They're hopefully going to get that number 1 pick.
Boom. Hopefully. I mean, they better.
And honestly, I give it a couple of years and Detroit will be right back to the Detroit of old.
Yeah.
But as far as the division goes, Tampa Bay, my boys, they're easily going to win this division. I don't think it's going to be close. I could see Dallas getting a sniff early. I could see Carolina potentially having a sniff at it. But I think once the Lightning get rolling, which we saw them do last year when they ripped off 25 games with points in a row. And it was just insane. They were unbeatable. And I know we're missing Kucherov, but that's really the only piece of the puzzle that's gone as far as big picture. Yeah, Shattenkirk's gone. Paquette and Coburn, as we previously mentioned, went to Ottawa. But with Kucherov out, Brayden Point's going to be playing a lot more minutes. We supposedly have a healthy Steven Stamkos. So as long as Stammer stays healthy, and I think our top line is probably going to be Palat, Stamkos, and Point. I think that'll be our top line. Either that or Killorn will be with Point and Stamkos. And we got, Sergachev, Edmund, Vasi, and net. I think the Lightning are a stone cold lock to win the division.
I don't disagree. I have Tampa, Dallas 1-2.
Yeah. I would say Carolina at 3. I think they're safe to be 2-3.
Yeah, I have Carolina and Nashville fighting for 3rd and 4th. Columbus as well in there. The only thing I'm worried about with Dallas is Anton Khudobin's going to be your starting goaltender because Bishop's going to be out for a while.
Is Bish still hurt?
Yeah, apparently it was the majority of the season he was supposed to be out for.
Go figure.
So
Bishop hurt.
So is Khudobin going to be able to do what he did in the playoffs? Hopefully. I would love to see that.
I hope so. I would love them, especially the Lightning and the Stars play each other 8 times this year.
Yeah, and they're going to be great games.
After they played each other 6 times a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's Dallas and Tampa 1-2, however you want to put it. I think Tampa's going to be the better team there. I think they didn't lose a whole lot this offseason, as you were saying. And then looking at it, you're going to have Nashville, Carolina, Columbus battling for 3 through 4th. Mm-hmm. I think Carolina is the front runner there. Nashville, they're a quiet team. You don't hear a whole lot about them. Same with Columbus. They're going to be battling it out there. And then the bottom 3, you have Chicago, Florida, and Detroit. Florida and Chicago are going to have battles for that 5th and 6th spot, or 6th and 7th, I should say.
I don't see Detroit.
No,
I mean, Detroit.
Unfortunately, not.
If you're a Wings fan, I'm sorry. I
We've
feel for you. I've been there. because the Lightning were horrid for a very long time.
The only thing you can say to Detroit fans is at least you're not the Oilers in their 12th year of a rebuild.
Yeah.
That's really it.
So there's our rundown of the divisions.
Yeah, that's all I have for the divisions. That's really all I have for the podcast this week. We do want to say I just looked this up. We are, I believe it was 4 subscribers away from 1,000.
Yep.
Yeah, we're at 996 currently. So
Holy cow, that's
subscribers
amazing.
away. 4. That's it. I just need 4 more people to subscribe and I'll be happy.
Yes.
Now, speaking of, we have said there's going to be prizes. What we're going to do is 1 through 5 are going to get a prize. So all 1,000 names are going to be thrown into a drawing on however we figure it out. There's websites for that. If you're first, you're going to get something awesome.
We will screen record the drawing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll screen it out. We'll do everything. We'll put it on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Might even live stream it. Who knows?
Yeah.
So first place, we're going to keep that a secret as of right now. The second I get confirmation that it's a go-ahead, I will tell all of you guys. Hopefully we haven't hit 1,000 subscribers by then. Maybe we're at 999. Second place, you're going to get anything from our store that you would like, preferably a hoodie or a t-shirt. The new hoodies are awesome. They're super comfy. I have 2 of them that I think I just keep rotating between the 2 because they're that comfy. I'm wearing one right now. They're awesome. And then what we're going to do is 3rd through 5th place, we're going to get you guys a free custom Team Stripes Acme Thunder matte black whistle from our amazing sponsors over at Acme Thunder. So if you haven't subscribed, you have literally 4 spaces left. So subscribe.
Now, if we go over 1,000 before we do the drawing, like if we get to 101, 1,001, we're going to include everyone that is subscribed will be included.
As long as you're not like the 1,300th subscriber. We're going to have a big jump here. We're going to
we're going to have a huge jump here.
But no, we'll make it as fair as possible for everybody, obviously. Yep. And if we do have a massive jump, we'll talk to our people on our end about that.
Yes.
We'll make this as fair as possible. We want to make it a massive giveaway. 1,000 subscribers is huge for us. It's huge for you guys. One last thing on the YouTube channel. If you want a further in-depth preview, I will be doing that over the next 2 days. So there'll be a West conference. So I'm going to do the North and the West, dropping that going to be sometime tomorrow, or I guess today for you guys on Tuesday. And then I'm going to do the East with the Central and the East Division on Wednesday before the season starts. But the season is starting at 4:30 Central Time, so it'll be out sometime around lunch, hopefully.
Do you want to do a live stream on Wednesday on Twitch?
Potentially. We'll talk about that after. Games,
yes.
Very much potential.
So keep an eye on our social media. Maybe we will do a Twitch watch along.
Yep.
Kind of like we did for the first night of the playoffs back in August.
August. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Forever and a day ago.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out for you guys.
Keep an eye on our social media for that.
Yeah, we'll be blasting that out on social media if that happens. Really quickly, the YouTube channel, there's going to be a lot more content coming up shortly. I'm going to start doing a bunch of gaming on there, do live streams on there just to interact with you guys some more. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, we can play some Chell.
Yeah, and I'm looking at doing a Chell tournament.
Yes, a Team Stripes Chell tournament would be great.
The logistics right now are confusing my little brain, but I'm figuring it out slowly but surely. That might be like a thing we do kind of more so into the summer so guys are available. But with that, that's all I got for episode 82 of the Team Stripes podcast. Ross?
Let's see. So we're potentially going to live stream Wednesday.
Yep.
Keep an eye on our social medias. Chell on Twitch. Tournament. So we're good there. So we talked about that stuff. Honestly, we should all just be like super pumped and excited. I know I am. I know you are. I know the few guys that I talk to regularly, they're ready to go as far as getting back on the ice with the NHL. Their schedules are pretty cool. Like my buddy sent me his. He's working pretty much just the East Coast the first month of the season. So, dude, it's go time. It is, man, it's the best time of the year for a hockey fan. Opening night.
Hockey's back, and it's going to be in the spring.
Now, the question is, are they going to take a page out of the World Junior referees books for that opening face-off?
I hope so.
That'd be
awesome.
so great.
I would love to hear what Wes McCauley makes up in his head.
If they don't have Wes scheduled to drop the first puck of the season with an open mic, somebody in the NHL messed up.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all.
So with that, thanks for listening. Check out the Team Stripes Academy if you are interested in learning from one of the best guys to ever put on a striped sweater, Mr. Don Koharski. Keep communicating in the Facebook group. I think we've been having some good discussions there.
Tons.
And until next time, enjoy the game, skate hard, and have fun.